piece, the Chanson Triste, meaning sad song. I have the overview to show you first, the satellite view. Just a wonderful ABA piece, ABA coda, in a very unconventional arrangement of melodies and phrase structure. You have this in your supplies. It will be a nice thing to refer to. I want to start first with the system 1 of just playing the soprano line by itself. This is really a wonderful way of approaching the piece, of learning it for yourself, and to teach it. To know how to break it down into the parts is going to expedite your learning so that it's faster and more clear in your mind. So here's the soprano line. It starts 5 Ds in a row, up to F and down a fifth. Hear it falling. Breathe. Down an octave. And another fifth. This being in G minor, he ends our first system on the dominant, on the D. Now I want to show you the bass line. I think this is probably the most exciting thing in the piece. And because we can follow it with this arrangement of measures. There's actually 20 measures in section A, 20 measures in section B, and the A again 20, and 8 in the coda. So how do you get such symmetry and disperse it this way? Here's the bass line. Ending on the D. They meet on the D. Isn't that just fabulous to make a descending line that far down, from here all the way down to there? It's a tenth, and so far and deep in the bass. Now look what he does in line 2. These line up exactly, the first 4 measures. Now comes the part I love the most. We go up a 7th. This is the ascending bass line. Feel the pungency of this chromatic line. Culminating right here. That's where your heart breaks, on that E flat. It's the 6th, 5, 1. So the entire first section is leading to that moment. Now, the next step I like to do is to put the soprano and the bass line together. Listen for the spatial distance between these two parts. Repeat. Going away. Now. And the third part are the inner harmonies that come on the off beats. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. And I like to feel that rhythm. This is what gives the texture and gives the inner propulsion to the piece, is the cross current of the offbeat chords. So I will actually count these on the second and fourth beat. 1, 2, 3, 4, 1, 2, 3, 4. Another way I like to do this, and these are the steps that I had to do to learn this piece. I have it all memorized. It's really the only way. Why do we put so much emphasis on memory anyway? And the reason is because if you don't have it memorized, you don't really know it. You can't be worrying about what note comes next or wondering, gosh, what was that inner interval there? You have to own that. So you can take this then as a springboard. The notes are just a template. And from there we spring off into what the story is telling us. What is the character of this piece? That is always the defining question before we start any piece. What is the character? Where are we going? Where do we locate ourselves? Okay, left hand alone. That's not easy to do. That's going to take a lot of practice to be able to do it like that. And then when we finally put the parts together, we have our rich tapestry, and we can hear all of these separate parts. We're like a conductor, and we're deciphering out the parts and hearing them like members of the orchestra. The cellos, the inner oboes in the inner register, and perhaps maybe a violin or a flute for the soprano line. Always balancing the three-part harmony tonally. And legato is critically important. Playing the piano is so challenging when we have a melodic note that's the same note for the melody. How do we sustain legato without completely letting the key up? There's a great amount of technique and control to do that. We don't want it boxy. We want it into the key, molto legato, and fingering is a big part of that. The fingerings in your edition are the fingerings that I worked out using a lot of finger substitution so that I can maximize my legato touch. They fit my hands. I have particular needs with the shape of my fingers. You will have your own needs. They're suggested fingerings. Fingerings are a guideline, but every hand is different, and one of the main things in becoming a good pianist is to know your hand and what fingerings work best for you. So work with your teacher. Teachers work with your students. Always be thinking, what is the best fingering for my hand? All right, now we get to the most marvelous moment when we get to the B section. We get to leave the dark and turgid G minor. And he takes us down. What a wonderful modulation. Just go down a step to F. Already, it's a change of scene. Already it feels lighter. It's asking a question. Answer. This is the leading. It's a love duet between the soprano and the tenor. And here's our easy page turn. Repeat of the B. And this chord lifts you off. You become airborne. The way you roll this chord, there's so much feeling and grace, just like a ballet step. So step into that chord and luxuriate over it. Now, it's over. That short-lived window is gone. Now with 3 steps, D, C, B flat, or recapitulation. So that 3-note motive we're going to have all the way through the piece, even at the very end of our coda. he ends with the descending 3 notes. So look for motives in this. Look for how many times we have that 3-note motive. I want to say one more thing about this before we get to the coda, the ending. Tchaikovsky loved the ballet, his Nutcracker, his Swan Lake. And I really do believe that he meant this to be the rapturous, blissful love of a pas de deux between 2 people deeply in love. And that's how I hear the middle section, with that, this 10th. So follow those parts and put your own emotion into it. Put your own fantasy and imagery into it. We get to do that when we make an interpretation. We're not locked into anything. So as much as you can see and read, the better. The more life experiences you have, the more cultural events you can go to, that was all going to come into your music. Let's get to the coda here. This is really wonderfully written. And some of the editions that I consulted in making my own show these as rolled chords and some don't. This is that 6th in the tenor. This is the final parting. Of course it has to be G minor. I hear these at the end as exhales and inhales. Exhale, inhale, or vice versa. But it is the breathing, it's the contracting, and then the final expiration of breath and death, maybe. So I hope that helps you. And the more you play the piece, of course, the more things you'll find. We never stop making discoveries. I find, and I've been taught this, and I know it's true from my own personal experience, we need to learn and forget a piece at least 3 times. Put it away. Go back to other material. And when you come back to that piece, you will be amazed at the new things you see and hear. And do it again, and by the 3rd time, now you're starting to get your hands and your mind and your heart around this piece. It takes a long time. So be patient with yourselves. Give yourselves credit for trying a piece like this. And it will only get better, like a great friendship. Thank you.